Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on tonight's episode, I am joined by two really good friends. We have Nonal with us.
Hey, everybody.
And tell them a little bit about what character you're playing, what level, and, just when you made that guy and how far along you've gotten with him so far.
He's an alt, my 13 Shadow Knight Harpua. He is human. And I've made him quite a while ago. Actually, I made him mainly just because I was in KC, and the armor drops there are called flayed skin, and they usually just rot. So I was like, well, I have a whole set of this. Let's make a Shadow Knight and stick it on there and see what happens. So that's how he came to be.
I actually like that armor. It's kind of pinkish, purplish, but it's still not bad. And the stats on it are pretty good. But of course, you have to be either human or Erudite, to wear that Necro or Shadow Knight. So it's very specific on who can use that armor. And like you said, a lot of the time, it just goes to waste because there aren't very many Shadow Knight humans, and there's not very many Erudite Necromancers out there either. Although, that's not too horrible. It's definitely not too horrible of a race for sure. We also have Bushido Bull with us tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, Honey Brown's got a full set of that.
Right, and what character are you playing right now?
Ruhog, my half-elven ranger.
And what level is he?
He just turned, he's 10% into level 14.
Oh, sweet. And guys, I am playing my wizard who happens to be level 13, Sir Blast-A-Lot. He is an erudite. They start with a pretty decent amount of intelligence, so I like that about them. They don't have the greatest regen, which is why you won't see a lot of people who are going to be playing Necros kind of min-maxing going that route. But I like the fact that you picked a human. They get a bad rap, and they're actually pretty, nice. I like humans. They're straight down the middle. Oh, crap, I just pulled the wrong one.
I got this.
I pulled the wrong one.
You got deep water?
I don't think
I got a deep water. He's going to
so.
kill me. Oh, yeah, I'm dead. Oh my god. That's what happens when you're not paying attention, guys, and you click on the wrong mob. So I am bound in Freeport, so I will be back in a minute.
I'm going to die too, man. I wasn't pulling the deep waters.
Click on the mob you want, and for some reason in this game, it will give you another target.
No, that's not what happened this time. I literally clicked on the wrong mob just because I wasn't quite paying attention. I was doing the commentary, and I was like, yeah, we'll just pull that one. And no, not a good idea. All right, let me go ahead and start putting my spells back on. If I can remember which ones I had. Actually, Shock of Lightning, I think, was one. Did you die?
Yeah.
I apologize for that. That was all my fault, man. That was a stupid move on my behalf. Hopefully, nobody else died.
We're getting revenge for you, too.
Oh, no, somebody else did. Harpua? Harpua died. He's bound over here with me as well.
That's me. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll run over with you.
That thing was hitting for 44. I don't know how hard it was hitting you for, but it was hitting
me for about 44 and 30.
44 is max, I think, at our level, because that's what it was hitting me for. So even with all of your armor, it didn't quite do any good, I think, against that mob.
That's not the greatest armor. I mean, it's not the greatest AC armor. It has some HP on it, but it's not the greatest armor. And we don't have a healer, so,
That's true.
That's bad.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have a crappy wizard, guys. Wizards kill people. I like this guy, though. I really do. He does so much damage in one hit when his spells can land. Unfortunately, he is very, kind of set back in the way that he has to worry about whether his spells are going to get resisted. And I've never played a class like that. I mean, you've played a bard. You have a high-level bard. How often do you have to worry about your songs getting resisted? Is that like a pretty big deal for your class, or not so much?
Sometimes. I don't know. And it just depends on where you're at. Like, definitely like your area. Like, ice dots don't land, in Thurg, you know what I mean? Like in fire stuff doesn't land in Soul B. So you kind of have, that's common, you know what I mean? Sounds like silly common sense stuff, but you have to think about it. So.
Well, you would think that it was common sense, but I played plenty of games where you're in a zone that's made all out of ice, and ice spells tend to land just fine. I think it's the fact that you're playing Everquest. They went more down that D&D aspect where a fire dragon is going to be resistant or highly, resistant to kind of fire spells, and he's going to be more susceptible to ice spells, which is that old school D&D aspect that we kind of all grew up playing with. I like that. It makes sense to me in my mind. Maybe people coming to the series for the first time, coming to like D&D for the very first time, being like, well, just because it's fire, why does it have to be susceptible to ice? If you guys have ever played Pokemon for like the younger generation, same aspect. They got the four little things of nature where it's fire, water, earth, and air. I think they even threw in some of the other aspects such as like ghost and mental, the mental ones and things of that sort. And each one of them has the thing that they're strong against, and each one of them has one thing that they're weak against. Same thing goes in this one. Everquest is notorious for giving and then also taking away. So they don't really give you anything and say you're uber. Like there's no downside. Think of Superman. He got his strength, but he's also weak against kryptonite. Like they're going to give you something, they're going to take something away. And I think that's what some of the new games are kind of missing. They just give you stuff and they never really take anything away. And it makes a very unique character when they do that. When they give you something really cool, but then also maybe not take something away equally, but at least take something away. What would you say for your bard is the one thing that they kind of took away from your class that you may see on other characters kind of similar to it? Do you see anything of that you're kind of like, oh, I wish I had that?
I don't know if there's one particular thing. Like bards do a little bit of everything, but they don't do like one single thing really, really well. You know what I mean? Like they have mana regen, but the chanter spells, better. They can pull, but monks can feint death. They can tank, but a warrior's better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they do. I don't know if there's one thing. You know what I mean? You kind of wish I could do everything a little better. You know what I mean? But
that might be it right there. Is that you're not an ace of anything, but you're a jack of all trades. Which is kind of cool. You get that aspect, but you kind of lose out on being an expert, which makes sense. I mean, if you devoted yourself to doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you're not going to be able to spend as much time as somebody else who's just like, I'm going into, woodworking, and that's all I'm going to do. And I'll be a master, carpenter at the end of this. I'll be able to do some amazing stuff. You'll be able to do the basics, maybe even a little bit more than the basics for bards in that sense. But you're never going to quite get up to that reach of like an enchanter, like you said, with the C2 that they got, which is absolutely amazing. Although, to be honest, with enchanter C2 and a bard playing his mana song, that right there is just beauty in my mind. That is amazing. You never going to run out of mana on a normal group like that. So
it's cheesy to say it like this, but I think of a bard as an amplifier for everyone. Whether you're a rogue trying to backstab or DPS, whether you're a cleric trying to med, or a tank trying to get more AC, you know what I mean? I just think of it as an amplifier. Amplifies everyone else, whatever they do, a little better.
I think you're right. I think that's a really good analogy for that class. But you're not too bad on your own. I mean, you're able to do stuff. You're able to, in fact, bards can kite entire zones all by themselves if they really, really want to, and they're not too bad of a tank either. If they, like if you need one in a pinch, they're not the greatest. I wouldn't really want one as my main tank, but as a semi-backup tank in a pinch when, we got like 5 or 6 mobs and one of them keeps breaking mez for some reason and we need somebody to take those hits rather than the wizard or the cleric, I'd rather have the bard do it than either one of those classes. So that's kind of cool that they got a little bit of all of that stuff. Would you say that it was a good first character to start with, or do you think it's a little bit more, expertise-wise, you needed that little bit of experience before you go into that class?
I'd say it's a little complicated learning. I wouldn't say the songs are really complicated. I mean, there's a lot of knowledge or a lot of things you have to learn about each song, but the twisting probably is what gets most new players, I would guess. You know what I mean? Like how to play 3 songs at once. And it's really not that hard. It's just practice and doing it.
Would you want to play the game for the very first time while you're learning the game and going through all the aspects that you have to learn in this game, such as, you got to sit down, you got to, get food and water, what mobs do, the paving, learning all the ins and outs of this game, and go through learning what a bard can do? Or do you think there's other classes out there that might be a little bit easier on you?
I'd say that it might be easier for another class. Although when you get Salos, as a bard at level 5, I mean, just the fact that you can outrun anything in the game is pretty nice. I mean, you get yourself in a bad situation, you know what I mean? You can almost outrun anything. That is pretty nice for, you know what I mean, a first-time player.
I had no idea you got that at level 5. Is that like perma-camped on your button there?
Oh, yeah. It's something you use all the way through. I mean, 60, so...
That is amazing. That, I guess, you know, that when you put it that way, I think it might actually be better for you to play a bard to start with, because then you could get yourself out of trouble no matter what. Unless you get stunned or rooted.
Unless you're indoors, because it doesn't work indoors. So if you're in the middle of split paw, or you know, like one of those like crush bones, it works. So, but you know, like split paw, I don't know. I can't remember if it works in split paw. But anyway, inside a dungeon, an indoors dungeon, you can't use Selah. So.
Right. Well, as long as you stay out of dungeons, it's going to give you, especially if you're a first-time player, you know, you're not going to want to go into dungeons right off the bat until you kind of know a little bit more about the mechanics of a game, and hopefully get into a group and people can teach you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, because there's so much to learn in this game when you first get started. It's actually pretty overwhelming. It's the same thing I was telling Nonal earlier, is when I first got into doing these videos, if you watch videos on how to record and how to, you know, the commentary and what to talk about and what to put up, it's pretty overwhelming. Like, what mics do you need? What earphones should you use? And all these things, each and every single one of those things that I just kind of mentioned right there will take you hours upon hours watching videos just to get the basics down. And like I said, it can get really, really overwhelming. Almost to the point of, like, maybe I shouldn't do it, right? Like, maybe it's just a little bit too complicated. Sometimes you just have to dive in and try it. You know, you might make a really crappy video. It might be all blurry. It might be this. It might be that. But you're going to learn each and every single time you do it. And as long as you're willing to just, you know, say, maybe it's not going to come out perfect the first time, but is it watchable? Is it doable for me? Are people going to still enjoy it? And I think that's the case, is most people are willing to forgo the best quality out there. They don't necessarily have to have it. If you want to be big and be one of those top YouTubers out there that have, you know, millions of subscribers, well then, yeah, you're going to kind of want to work towards getting that really good, you know, video quality and really good sound quality, and upgrading your equipment here and there as you go through it. But you don't need to start out that way when you first enter the game. And it's the same way in this one, or not the game, when you enter that field. The same way in this game when you first start out. If you can get the best armor, of course, you're going to do so much better. But you don't need to. You can start out butt naked, you know, with nothing but a few pieces of cloth, and you're going to be able to outfit your character as you go through the game. You just got to give yourself time. And you'll see with some of our characters when we first started, they were really, really poorly equipped. Now our alts are finally getting to the stage where they're pretty well equipped. You know, kind of twinked out here and there. It's not the greatest in the world. There's definitely more you can do with it. You know, there's people out there with like fungi tunics, and in fact, I saw one the other day. He, I don't know how he did it. I guess he went to like TOV or Kale or something like that. He got all the armor, the no drop armor, and he turned it in. And he was only, I think, like level 30 something. So he's running around with better gear than I've seen on level 60s at level 30. And that was nuts to me.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But he was an anonymous, I think. So, you know, they got a little bit of pull. They got a little bit of, you know, a guild there that's willing to do that kind of stuff. Stuff is just going to rot.
Hazel's over there in the distance.
What was that?
Oh, sorry. There was just like huge thunder and lightning, and my son just jumped like 3 feet in the air and screamed. I thought maybe you heard that.
Oh, I heard the scream, but I didn't hear the thunder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was funny anyway.
Is it going to rain over there today, do you think, or has that been raining all day?
It stormed yesterday pretty good here. I'm in Ohio, so it rained pretty good.
Oh, nice.
We need it bad.
Yeah, I think everybody around the country needs it, other than... well, actually, no, I think everybody needs it. I haven't heard anybody flooding this year, so... Let me put my group back on.
Down here in West Virginia, down about a county away. Pretty bad.
Oh, that sucks. I know we've been kind of in a dry, you know, not a dry drought, but a drought for the last 6, 7, 8 years now. We get a little bit of rain sometimes that kind of eases it up, but never quite enough. Wow, that thing is just amazing aggro, isn't it?
Hey, what just happened there?
I can't even attack him when he's at 47% without him coming over.
I'm not a good Shadow Knight, I don't think, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn like what I need to do here.
your pulling spell, you should use your low-level disease dot.
He's using it right there. That's the green one.
Okay.
He's,
Yeah.
Well, I pulled with life tap the last time, so that probably would help. I
oh,
guess.
okay, yeah.
You get too much attention that way.
I almost never use life tab. Disease cloud, and then you get a flux spell later on that looks like a little tornado, and that one's going to be the best one for you at higher level. But you don't get that one till 30 something, 40 something. Little OP right there, a little bit much on killing him. Is that a bard? You got a bard over there? The Bill?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do these deep waters.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's
he's
outside
got-
of a range. Singing
He's
still.
got the that bard has that mystic quota gear on too. Same thing Nano has. That teal blue or whatever, light blue.
Oh, that's not the singing still from Casey?
I don't
Said-
think so. Maybe. Surely that's not singing still. That might be singing still, man. It's kind of darker. I don't know. That's crazy.
Definitely a twink.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I don't know if I can do these deep waters. They're red.
I would just stay away from him if you're not sure. It's not
Unless
worth it
one of these
to...
Necros has a heal. I know Necros get a heal.
They do. I mean, both of them should have it by now. I think you get it at level 4 or level 8 or something like that, but most of them don't even know about it. They don't even use it. It's not into higher level. Bone Mana might actually be using it.
I can snare them, so you should be able. If you have to, you can outrun them.
Well, he doesn't have a Spirit of Wolf or anything like that, so he just have to do it naturally. And by the time a tank usually decides to run, he's pretty low on life. He's going to be slowed quite a bit, so...
I meant you.
Oh, yeah, I don't run very
You
well on
get
this guy.
attention.
I'll try to root it more than anything else. Yeah, I think Fatso is actually killing the deep water, so if we leave those for him, he'll be more than happy to have them.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even get experience off the regular ones, I would imagine.
I don't think so, not at his level 20.
Probably not.
Yeah, you just have to compete with the
There's
Bill
a yellow
over there.
deep water. Let's try this yellow deep water. Here we go.
What level were you?
13.
Okay, so he'll be yellow to me as well.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna chain life tap so I don't die.
Snaring them.
Root
So
did not
you run
work.
slower.
He don't like you at all.
No, he
Mr.
didn't.
Blast. Oh, you got your wizard and kittens, huh? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I joined a long time ago. I figured, they were or they still are. They're our ally guild, or sister guild kind of thing, or brother guild, whatever you want to call it. Figured I'd go ahead and put one of my alts in there and level him up when he's on. Kittens Who Say Meow are absolutely fantastic, by the way, guys. If you ever want to group at lower levels, they group at higher levels too. I hate to keep saying lower levels, but the majority of the groups that I see starting are from like level 1 to around level 40, level 35 kind of, where most of the groups are at. The higher level groups are usually raid stuff that's going on, or they're doing epic stuff for people in the guild. So you're going to be able to find groups. They're not as prevalent as the lower level ones. The Blackheart Pirates, they have a lot of groups, but the groups that I see are mainly level 50 over. So if you're kind of like I said, a new person starting the game and you're looking for that guild that you're going to be able to level with, they're both really good guilds, and they're, like I said, they do a lot of raiding together. In fact, almost all raiding that they do individually is in combination, at least somewhat, with the other guild. So you're gonna get to learn who they are. You're gonna become friends with both people or both sides. But I would say at lower levels, go with the kittens, and then at higher levels, if you're not finding what you're looking for in the kittens, you can always go to Blackheart Pirates. And again, it's kind of the same guild because it's the same people you're going to be raiding with if you decide to go down that aspect. But I don't raid with either one of them anymore. They went to DKP points, which, it's just something I'm not a big fan of, so I decided not to go with the raids. But I am hoping to do more raids in the future with open guilds such as like Omni and some of the other ones. I was hoping to get my monk into different guilds out there as well, but you were telling me with yours, Nonal, they were hoping to hit Kale today or something like that.
Today or tomorrow.
Can you tell us a little bit about your guild? What are the requirements level-wise? Do you guys do a lot of raiding? Is it random DKP? I mean, what's kind of the situation going on over there?
I'm in Velocity Shift.
Oh, hold on a second. Giant guys.
Oh gosh.
Get to the pillar. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, man.
We need to get out of there.
Swimming to the other side of the pillar.
Yeah, I'm up on the pillar now.
I was right in the middle of bandaging. That would have been bad.
Oh look, a wounded elf. Whap.
All right, go ahead with your guild, man.
I'm in Velocity Shift, and we raid a little bit. We've done mainly the whole Kale on our own. We've joined other guilds and went to Hate and to Sky and even to Fear before once, but they're really trying to get the numbers up a little bit more so we can do more on our own, like I think every guild wants to do. But they're a great grouping guild. No level requirements for joining the guild, but then they really push to try not, no pressure, but we try to push to get you guys up there 45 so we can all raid. So 45, 46 to be in a raid. So
Well, the planes, yeah, for the planes, I think it's 46, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, just other raids too.
And it's a good idea to be at least halfway through 46 before you go up.
Well, at least not right on the ledge, because if you are 46 and you get one death, they can't revive you if you're not there. So your corpse will stay up there. You're gonna have to go and get like another bubble or two to get your level back, and then they can revive you back. Even though you would actually get your level back from that, resurrection, it doesn't work that way in the game's coding. So yeah, you do want a little bit of a buffer zone on that line for sure.
And then they've been doing epics pretty good. We've done. They pretty much got some of the ones that you see, like cleric, shaman, monk, rogue. They're doing those pretty easily. And then they've even not. I haven't started it on my bard, but they've been doing things like kedge and stuff for bards and mages, and it's just some different stuff.
That's cool. I would love to go back to Kedge Keep, man. It's been a zone I haven't been into in a long, long time. Did somebody walk?
Tell you what, we should explore that next time all of us can get on together again, Thum and stuff, because I think that'd be great.
Yeah, we should. We just got to get them some breathing apparatus.
Why is he pacing back and forth right here? Somebody pulling him or something?
Through the
Is the giant coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back the exact same path that he came when he went back this way. This is weird.
I think he would have walked all the way to the zone, but
unless somebody was he chasing? No, because he wasn't running. He was walking.
He might have chased somebody down.
No, because he wasn't running. Like if he was chasing somebody, he would have been running down that path. Unless he was snared, but he doesn't look like he's taken any damage whatsoever. And I don't know very many. I guess a druid snare. Your snare doesn't do any damage, right?
Mine does. It just slows him down.
All right, so you guys are down there. It looks like it's clear.
He might have just ran somebody down over there.
Yeah, I might consider putting one of my characters in there if you guys don't have any level requirements, man. It would be really cool to be in that guild. We did a open raid with them not too long ago, actually, and it went really well. I mean, it was just anybody on the server who wanted to join, and I like the fact that they're that open about it, that they're not too greedy. Watch your life, man. You're very, very low on life right now.
all right.
I can't get a target. There we go.
I'll take a second to bandage here. I wonder how many bandages they have there.
If you need more, you can always run over to the gypsy camp right in front of us.
Yeah. A liar can tank a little bit or whatever if they're...
Who are you playing, a liar? Are you playing a
ranger?
A ranger?
Yep.
I don't know if I would want a ranger to tank, to be honest. But
I tanked for these three necros.
What level do you get dual wield as a ranger?
15, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I know you get it. I just didn't know what the level was.
Nothing against rangers. I absolutely love a ranger. I even have one myself that I start and kind of twinked out. But I did notice that my ranger takes hits even worse than a cleric does, and that's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Of course, the cleric I was comparing it to was Chupa, and Chupa completely and totally twinked out his character to the point where he was wearing better stuff than my level 50 cleric was at the time. So take that for what it's worth. My guy was just somewhat twinked out. His guy was completely twinked out, and he was able to sit there and take hits almost to the point where he was taking almost no damage at our level. And we're over in Crushbone, so not a high level zone, but it was just night and day difference. He stopped taking the aggro. I started taking the aggro, and my lives just started dropping really quickly. So looking at that, I was like, that doesn't quite seem right. I mean, ranger, cleric, I would have figured the ranger would have been better, but maybe they don't come into their own until they get a little bit higher level. I did notice my monk kind of went through that at about level 30 to 35. He really opened up and just became this amazing DPS machine that, I mean, he was still pretty good before, but it just night and day difference.
I'm out of ammo.
At 35. So did you ever see anything like that with your bard? Did, you know, he was kind of cool at a lower level, and then all of a sudden he just became like this whole other entity?
Yeah, in the 30s. I can't remember what the level was, but when I was in Soul A, when I first started going to Soul A, it was such a struggle. And then when, can't remember what level it is or when it started laying that AE Mez song, when it started really going well there in Soul A, it was just like I could pull a whole room, you know, like 10, and I could mez all 10 of them and just hit one, you know what I mean? And it was fine. You know what I mean? I could mez all of them all at once and just kill one at a time.
See, that's cool. I guess maybe a lot of them go through that at level 30 to 35. Oh, you're killing at deep water? All right.
He's yellow to me.
He's super red to me, so none of my spells are going to land, but give it a shot. Nope, that is not going to work. Thum, on the other hand, his character, you know, as a tank, because you don't get any extra abilities to stop yourself from getting more aggro than you really want to. You don't get that pacify as a warrior. You don't get that feign death as a Shadow Knight does. You just get more AC than any of the other ones. You get more hit points than any of the other ones. You're able to take those hits better than any of them, but you're going to go with that downside of not being able to control how many mobs you... And you're not really able to get that snap aggro like the other classes do because you don't have those spells to rely on. So his character, from what I remember seeing, didn't really start coming into its own until around level 40, 45, when his spells, or not his spells, when his weapons actually started to proc spells. And that's when he was able to hold aggro a whole lot more. You're doing fine on those, man. That's...
well, he never really got the proc weapons that procced like at level 1 and stuff, though, either. You know what I mean? Whether he could afford them or knew about them or what. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would have made a world of difference, at least for his aggro.
Bonerman has one on him. I don't know if he is going to be okay or not. I'm going to see if I can read him.
Is this where I say things are hard for Bonerman?
I got him. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go down that route, but...
Or rough. Sorry, things are rough.
At least Bonerman's not a dick.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew what weapons to get. Now that we've been playing for a little while, and I've created a warrior, I keep hearing all these really, really good weapons to get. There's one that drops over in Velks, which is supposed to be amazing to get at level 1. It's the, it's the poisonous something or another. I can't even remember the name now.
It's a dagger that procs.
Yeah, it procs at level 1, and it does like 114 damage or something, which is nuts.
What is that weapon?
Oh, maybe that's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking
no, it's an axe.
Spider thing.
No, it's an axe. It's an axe. It's the...
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, what is the name? I knew what it was a little while ago. I'm sorry, guys. My brain is just not working well today. But, yeah, it's amazing because at level 1, most creatures have, like, 20, 25 hit points probably on average, if not even less than that. So if you're proccing 110, all you got to do is get that thing to proc once, and you can kill a level 4, maybe a level 5 creature easily in one shot, like one-shot them. If you're fighting, a level 10 or a level 15, if you can get that weapon to proc, you could probably kill him in 2 or 3 hits if you can get it to go off. If he doesn't kill you first. Of course, level 10, 15 creature at level 1 is probably going to one-shot you, but it just kind of opens up a lot more possibilities for you than you ever would have had before, having a weapon like that. And then the fact that warriors can dual wield, you throw on that weapon and then another different type of weapon, maybe the pizza box one that Doom had for the longest time. You do, yeah, you don't remember the axe that he had? Now I have it on my guy.
The green
jade broadsword.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we call it a pizza box because the shadow looks like a pizza box. It's square rather than the axe shape that it is, and it kind of actually looks like the stick that you go into the big ovens with on the pizzas and like move them around, take them out, and put them in.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's kind of a strange shadow that they never really fixed. I think that's the default image that they use for shadows for any object until they get around to putting the actual shadow in. And like I said, I just don't think they ever went back to do it. But those 2 weapons alone at a low level, not too shabby, man, because the Green Jade Broadsword is going to give you lots of stats. strength, stamina. I think it has a little bit of agility or dexterity on there, one of the others, and you're really going to be happy with that one. There's also Lamentations you can go with. Lamentations are a little bit more expensive. They have stats on them. They hit really quickly. Wrecking my face for sure, man. Those guys are hard. In fact,
What's that torch we had in the hole drop a couple times? Doesn't it proc pretty early?
Room brand.
There's like a torch that procs a fire damage.
Well,
or something?
it's a damage shield.
yeah.
When the mobs hit you, they take damage, I think.
I don't know if that drops or procs at level 1 or not.
Yeah, it's low level at least. I know I've seen level 10s use it.
I'm gonna come over here and get some bandages so I can help you with that.
Yeah, I was getting my face wrecked by them deep waters.
Have you gotten
Seems
your...
like the dark blues are not giving experience, and the reds are pretty tough for me to tank. I don't know if the Necros want a kite or something, or
They could.
they seem to be happy with what's going on, so I don't hear any of them.
Yeah, they could snare it and then fear it. There's 2 of them, so they could do it almost simultaneously and be fine with it.
How did we end up with 3 Necro gnomes?
That's who you picked.
We have 3 of them?
I know, but I mean,
Blackbirds. Wait,
I thought one of them was a wizard.
Egg?
oh, is one a wizard?
Yeah, Ogad. Ogad is a wizard,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a pet, so he must be a wizard. That guy's from Blackheart Pirates. I wonder if he's someone.
No, it's just
No, he's just
Black
from Black Hearts.
Oh, Black Hearts?
Uh-huh.
Didn't even know there was a guild called Black Hearts.
Someone biting on the tag.
Could be his own. Boner Man just went link dead. So we lost 1 up for... So we might be able to open it up to finding a tank in here. Orc Highway looking for more DPS. Class penalty is gone, but not race. Did you ever look at that back in the day when you were trying to get people into your group? Did you worry about class and race penalties?
No.
I probably
I
tried to
never
get
did.
a healer, or like a healer and a tank
Sure,
or
we
whatever.
got-
But you didn't worry
No,
that, it was a dark elf, and so there's a race penalty, and you didn't worry that it was a,
Nope.
Shadow Knight or anything along those lines.
Nope.
Yeah, Castle is out there. I never worried about that either, but I do hear from time to time people talk about it, and, when I've been in groups and Seb, and people are like, no, don't invite that guy, he's going to suck too much experience. I'm like, you're going to be able to kill more if we have DPS rather than not have DPS. So it's going to even out in the end, I think. The only thing that I've ever noticed that makes a huge difference is level. If you get somebody in there that's way, way, way too high level compared to everybody else in the group, everybody in the group is going to get almost abysmal experience versus that high level guy. And the high level guy, depending on his level, may get abysmal experience too, because everything might be close to being green, right on the line of him actually getting experience, and so nobody there is really benefiting from having that person in there. So kind of just take that for what it is. Maybe not go with the high level
No,
person.
you're not allowed to die.
Oh, he
No,
should be
try
fine.
not to, man. I never experienced it, but I guess race was kind of a bigger deal in earlier EQ years. I don't know if that's true or not, because I played, Velius/Lucian era.
I guess race would have been a bigger deal because they got rid of class penalties, and so there was no, worrying about class anymore. I guess the only thing to worry about would be race after that. I don't know. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really run into that too often, except from my Shadow Knight. Nobody really wanted my Shadow Knight. There was too many people to pick from, is the thing. And why pick somebody who has that penalty on a Shadow Knight versus going with any other class like a monk that can pull better and can hold aggro better with a warrior? Like you can pick and choose which ones you wanted because you had 15 Shadow Knights, 15 clerics, and 30 monks all looking for group on your list for that room all the time. And so I noticed.
You think it though was because he was? Just because he was a Shadow Knight? Because that's a tank. They just were wanting warriors or what?
I think they just didn't want the Shadow Knight. They wanted the monks so they could pull, because monks are able to pull so much better, and they're DPS. And then they'd have a warrior, and they always had plenty of warriors there. And then you'd have a cleric, you'd have the enchanter, you have your shaman, and then you'd go with one extra DPS, which usually ended up being a rogue because it's melee, it's safer. Wizards got left out, mages got left out, necros got left out. You didn't see them in groups too often either. There's a few classes out there, a handful of them, that just had a really, really rough time about it. And that's why I went with Cleric, because it seemed like the classes that were needed the most in groups, the Cleric was the top dog out of all of them. Enchanter, next one out of that, and you can kind of go down the list, Warrior after that, things of that sort. So I figured if I'm going to play a class that is needed in a group, and I definitely wanted at least one class that could get into a group. I'm very group oriented, and I liked being part of that aspect. I'll go with the top one, and I ended up loving it. I ended up loving playing a Cleric. I played the other classes. I'm not in love with them as much as I am with a Cleric. I can play a Warrior, and it's still fun. But you got to find that one, because it's so slow in this game sometimes leveling, that if you're playing a class that you're just not having fun with, you're probably not going to play them for too long. You're probably going to get tired of them, and you're going to want to move on to a different class. And you'll see people go through the alt-itis, they go through one alt after another. They're looking for that special race. They're looking for that special class that does it for them. And sometimes race does play a factor. I know Chupa loves his gnomes, man. When he plays his mages and things of that sort, he likes to have those small classes when he does it. So if the race isn't working out for you, try something different, guys. You may end up liking it. And the gnomes are pretty fun. Have you guys played one or no?
No, I've never played a gnome.
I want to make a rogue gnome. Is what I want to make. This is my last slot. I have one slot left, and I plan on making a rogue gnome.
See, that would be fun. I made a gnome with Chupa and Cypher, and I think Thum is going to join us as well. Me, Cypher, and Chupa all made mages, but I think Thum is going to make something else. So if you wanted to make a rogue and come out there and join us, we definitely got space in there. And they're all level 1, level 2. We only did an episode or two of them. Pretty fun, though. I like the city.
I won't lie. I made one, and I couldn't find my way out of the city, and I deleted him.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you.
Complex of a city, man. But I do want to make him again.
I don't blame you on that. Thankfully, we had Cypher there, and he knows that city forwards and backwards. But when we first started, we're like, where are we going? You start next to the water, and I immediately jumped in the water and started swimming. And, of course, you're level 1 in swimming, so it takes you like an hour just to get the 5 feet out of the water. It's absolutely nuts. But it took me back to the day where I killed myself to get out of Neck. I couldn't figure out how to get out of that dark elf city, so I was like, I'll just attack a guard and see what happens. And it spawns you outside next to the newbie.
I was going to do that, and I was like, I have to find my rogue trainer eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's down the road. You can avoid finding anything for the first 20 levels. You can do it, and once you build up those 20 levels, and you're like, fine, I'll go over there. At least when you go into a city, you know where the exit is, because you know where the entrance was.
Yeah.
And so you have that base, that point of origin to start from, and then you can slowly go off and be like, okay, I've gone a little bit too far. Let me go back. I'm memorizing the map as I go. Let me go off to the left this time. Let me go straight, and eventually you find the next quarter, and the next quarter, and the next quarter, and you know how to get out. But when it just boom, you start the game, and you're in I don't know, third, fourth, fifth quarter. I don't know where I'm at. You just got into the game. Very confusing. Very very time consuming. You get into a video game, you kind of want to start it. You want to get into that combat. You want to see what the game is like, because you're not sure if you're going to like it just yet. And when you have to spend 2 hours finding your way out of a city, it can be a bit much for some people. And it was definitely for me. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to attack something. So I attacked a guard, and it worked. I lost all my armor, but you only have what?
Piece, maybe?
Yeah, that little weapon that it starts you with, so you don't start with your fist. And I went out there, and I was like, I'm not going back in. So I killed a decaying skeleton. He had an axe on him, and I just used that rusty, piece of junk for a long time until I got something better. But it was a unique experience that I still remember to this day, because it kind of made that impact on me. What was your first character? Did you have a story like that when you first started?
For me?
Yeah.
I made a ranger, the first character. And I actually lost my body in Kelethine. I was in Kelethine, and I fell off the tree city. I fell off the tree city and died, and I never found it. So then I had to start with nothing, rusty weapon or whatever. And the story I have, that was one. Then the other one was I was exploring, and I was running, and I was following a Bixie or something, or a pixie. I think it must have been a pixie. And I got so far away, I didn't know where I was going anymore, and I got lost. And then I got killed, and I could never find his body. So I lost his body at least 2 or 3 times over the levels from 1 to 6 or whatever.
Right. But again, like you said, you didn't really have a lot on them, so it's not that big of a deal, and it's a learning experience. But I remember, yeah, that city was a nightmare. Getting around, I still have a hard time getting around in that city. I don't know it by heart, and I can never find the bank. I can never find anything in that city. So, but I remember running around underneath it and just seeing newbie corpses everywhere, just all over the place. And people were like, "How do I get my body back? Can't find my body." Oh,
Yeah.
I love the music there, though. The music in that tree city is amazing.
I know it pretty well now. I still get lost sometimes, but I know it pretty well. But that's why when I made my second character, the Bard, I made a half elf instead of a wood elf because I was not going back to the Tree City after that.
So you,
I'm done.
You picked an entire different race because you didn't want to go back to that city.
Oh yeah, I was done.
It's amazing though that some people will go into that city and absolutely fall in love and be like, "This is the best city in the world. Like I can't play in any other city than that one." And other people will go into that city and just be like, "Nope, I'm done with it. I'm never coming back to it." I've heard the exact same thing from the Dark Elf City because it's 3 quarters, and you have to go from quarter 1 to quarter 2. Like you can't just bypass the second quarter and go straight to 3 if you need to. And if you're a Necro or a Shadow Knight, you got to go all the way to 3rd quarter anytime you want to train. So that's a lot of zones, and zones used to take about 5 to 6 minutes on average. Yeah, a piece to zone because you were using dial-up. Nowadays you see it takes like 10, 15 seconds, but even shorter sometimes almost instant. But yeah, that used to play a big role in whether I'm going to go back to town. 3 zones, 5 minutes a piece. It's 15 minutes to get in, 15 minutes to get out. Plus the amount of time I'm doing the stuff on the inside, so that's a good 30 to 45 minutes just to get back into my trainer and get back out to fight again. Maybe not something I really want to do right now. Maybe I'll just keep fighting for another level or 2 and go back in when I really need to train a lot of stuff, or really get a whole bunch of spells, and I'll train at the same time. Did you have to kind of factor that in as well, or no?
No, I was still trying to figure the game out.
What about you, Donald?
Me, I think I had dial-up when I played, and my worst horror story on dial-up was I was traveling through Kithakor at night, and someone called, and someone picked it up, and I went link dead, and I had to get like a higher level to come and find. I was a bard, so I even had the corpse locate. I just couldn't find it, and I couldn't go get it. You know what I mean? Because it was dangerous, and that was my worst story. But that was probably the biggest challenge for me was the dial up. You know what I mean? So yeah, you think about that. You try to get somewhere and stay there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to worry about traveling because you never know what's going to happen. Not only in the game, but also, since dial up was the thing back then.
One of the things I found out when early on, someone gave me a bone rod. So when I first started, so he says, "Start here, just click it, and it'll point you in that direction." And I just started running in that direction, found my corpse, then died again. But at least I had a general idea of what direction from my bind point to start from.
Right. Yeah, it's really nice to have a spell like that for a Shadow Knight or a Necro or even a Bard having that spell. But
it's an all item. It's a little bone rod, 3 charges of locate corpse.
Oh, he gets a healer coming, man. Nice. But yeah, one of the huge things that I see from this one versus what old school had was the nighttime isn't anywhere close to being as dark as it used to be. I kid you not, guys. I remember going through. I never remember the name of this zone, but it's the one over next to Kazakh Thul. The
Firot?
Yeah, the Firot. That zone used to be so dark that when you zoned into it from the swamp, you would see 5 or 6 people sitting there at the zone line waiting for nighttime to end because they didn't want to get caught. First of all, they couldn't see anything, and second, they didn't want to get caught by the ogres running around. There's so many of them just roaming around doing their guard duties. And then there's also the assassin that occasionally roams around in that zone that will just one-shot people.
The shadows is what I want to call them. The specters.
Oh, they're further over there by the Plane of Fear. So if you knew where to stay away from, you wouldn't come anywhere close to that area. But yeah, it was a dangerous zone at night, just like Donald saying over there for Kith. Kith, again, is one of those zones where during the day, the mobs are relatively low level. I think they're around like level 20 or something like that. And then at night, they jump up to level 40, all the way up to a little bit in level 50s for the higher end versions of them. So you got to be very, very cautious on that one. But it was always dark in that zone, even during the daytime. It has this big canopy of I guess, trees or whatever the case is. And it was always just really, really dark. So I stuck to the wall as much as possible. And I do notice that on P99, Project 1999, which is what we're playing on right now, guys, the walls are really, really safe. Old school, the mobs used to roam up there. They used to, bathe up there every so often. So at night, people would sit there at the entrance as well. Now, when it's nighttime or daytime, I don't even bother looking in Kith. I just hug the wall and I'm perfectly fine. So I kind of do wish maybe they would make it a little bit more difficult, make the mobs roam up there, sometimes just sit up there, especially right at the entrance. The entrance used to be pretty nasty too, because when you zone in, occasionally we'll see a mob at that building right there at the very, the path right there in front of you. But he's not close enough that when you walk around that tree, you get aggro. And he used to be. He used to definitely grab you.
Later on live, when you come out of What's Commons into Kith, right there, that first tree to the right, they actually put a stationary mob.
Right, so maybe that's the one I was thinking of. I just knew that you really couldn't get by in that zone at night. You had to wait it out. And that made a kind of a cool little aspect, because while you're sitting there waiting, people would start talking to each other. They'd start buffing each other up, and you'd ask questions. People would be like, where are you running to? I'm running over here to do this and that. And before long, you may actually start forming up a group. And I think our healer is here, Nelvetti.
Why can't I target her? Where'd she go? There she is.
I think she's been here.
Talking about Kith and that run, I don't know about where you guys played or your server, but was it a thing like it was on ours where you would get like the high hold keep, and then actually druids and wizards would be there to port people out and make money doing that? That was kind of a thing on our server.
I don't remember that.
I played on Interruck, and as far as high hold keep goes, that place was always camped, man. It was a great place to go there and get that backpack and those idols you could sell for a little bit of money. They were never quite as expensive as they were on this server. But I don't remember druids or wizards sitting there all that often. Wizards definitely not, because there's very few wizards on my server at all, and they almost never ported. I think I got a handful of wizard teleports the entire time I've ever played EverQuest, this time included as well. That's with a friend who's a wizard, so...
I remember getting a wizard port and I didn't even know. I was like, wait, aren't you porting us? And it was like the telecommunication or whatever it is, tele whatever it's called.
Oh, translocate?
Yeah, translocate. Yeah. And I was like, what's going on? That was back in the day. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what was going on. So.
Right.
But yeah, that was and it was so camped there, like you said, like where there was one person when you get down to the basement, there was one room. One group sitting there, one sitting in the room on the right, one is sitting in the warrior room, and then one group sitting in the raider room. Each room was a camp, you know what I mean? And that's what they pulled.
Yeah, for high keep?
Yeah.
I love the fact that the game used to be camped that much, because it would give you the chance of going through a zone. Like, I remember Lower Guck. Fantastic zone. I love that one. I spent so much time there with my Shadow Knight. I used to pull there like crazy. And I used to do crazy pulls. I wish I had been able to record back then, because I used to pull from the living side all the way where like Rasta is and Evil Eye. I used to be able to pull the Evil Eye all the way down to the Frenzy group in Lower Guck. And I used to do that on like a regular basis. It was fantastic. It made me feel really good that I was able to actually pull that far. But the cool thing about it is, when it's that camped, you can walk through the zone. You can be level 1 and literally walk through Lower Guck without ever seeing one mob up, because people are camping the actual spawn locations everywhere. So you'll never, ever have to worry about getting aggro. And you're able to go in there and get your Mask of Deception right off the bat. You're able to go in there and get an Evil Eye bag right off the bat, as long as you know where you're going. Like, that was the only kind of caveat, is if you didn't know the zone well enough, you're going to get lost and you're going to spend hours, and eventually you might run upon a creature that's going to one-shot you because you're running someplace weird that nobody's at. But if you knew where you were going, you can get down there at level 1, and because those things are all lore, the bags and things of that sort, when they do spawn, as long as you're willing to wait for it, you're able to get those. And that was really, really cool. You don't see that too much on this server. There's a lot of people on here, 1,000 to about, what do you think, 1,600 on average, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
even
on
less,
prime time.
especially in the summer.
And they say the winter's going to be even busier because that's when people are indoors. I'm kind of the exact opposite. During the winter is my time, because I live in Texas, guys, and Houston to be exact. When it's summertime, people stay inside. It's too hot, way too hot and humid here. But during the wintertime, it's like your summer. You know, we get to go out, we get to go to the beach, we get to enjoy the outside air for a little while. It's in the 70s and stuff. You guys are all freezing your butts off in like negative 50s. We're in like the 70s and 80s, so that's about as cold as we get. We got this deep water crocodile over here.
I know I snared it and it started.
Yeah,
Did we get an ad or somebody else pulled?
I think Laura.
I think I tried to target the one we were on, and somehow, you know, this game will throw you on to another target.
No, it's on the clerk.
I rooted it. That was bad
I
rooting
keep
place.
hitting the incoming button. Sorry about that. Wow.
All right, why not any attacking?
There we go. He's rooted.
Well,
Sit down.
I'll
met
tell
up.
you my Everquest. The reason I'm saying is because I want to ask you guys. I really never liked playing Silk or pure casters. I mean, I can't say I didn't like it. I just prefer not to. Is there a class you guys like? No, that's not for me. Like,
Wasn't so much the class. I liked all the classes. I just never cared for the gnome race. And that sucked because I wanted to play a tinkerer. I just wouldn't bring myself to do it.
For me, I guess it would have to be. I never really would be like, it's a sucky class, but I never really gave it a shot, which is wizard, and that's what I'm playing right now. And I absolutely love the wizard, but they never got any love back in the day. They had a hard time because they got resisted a lot. You always had to be slightly higher level. With my cleric, one of the things that when I give you guys tips on like what level you can go to those zones, sometimes they're a little bit, lower level than they should be, because I'm giving you the level requirements that I went with on my cleric. And clerics can get into groups a whole lot sooner than anybody else because all they're doing is healing a tank. They're not getting resisted by any of the mobs. They're not hitting the mob at all. So you don't really have to worry about getting hit by the mob, and you don't have to worry about getting resisted by the mob. So you're able to get into groups that you probably shouldn't be in for another 5 or 6 levels sometimes. Wizards, on the other hand, are the exact opposite of that.
Giant warning coming down the beach.
Instead of being able to get in that zone at, say, level 35 on a cleric, you now have to wait till maybe level 45 before you can get in there with a wizard, because you're going to have to worry about the mobs being, level 42, 43. Yeah, we do got the guy, but he's chasing somebody.
someone's got aggro. Yeah.
Not attack. Oh, no, they're attacking him. He's 44%. So we don't have to worry. Unless that guy dies, we shouldn't get anything off of that. I don't know why.
It's in the water though.
That's what I was thinking. Like, why would you run it out there?
The druid went on the raft.
Oh, did he?
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
he is.
he's going to zone in a second, and then it's going to come over here and just eat.
Unless it decides to zone back the way it came. Just keep an eye on it.
Okay, I've not seen that before. I didn't know it would chase you.
Oh,
the
yeah.
raft.
I used to do that in Ocean of Tears and stuff.
Well, can you
I'll
drown
be on
it?
the boat,
Will it drown?
I'll shoot something with my bow, and they don't chase me across the zone. It plays hell when it goes from one end of the zone to the other, so it just stops.
Yeah, he's zoned it. I was telling Fatso over here that he's doing that because that pillar out there is usually the safe spot. If somebody's pulling it on the beach over here, it's far enough out that you won't get aggro. But when it walks back the same way it came, if it goes that path, Fatso definitely will get aggro through that mountain. And I just didn't want him to die for no reason. So
That's so dead already?
no, he's sitting over here right next to me. I think he was medding up.
You should probably send him a tail.
I did. I let him know. All right. I think he's going to sit out there for a little while. Let's get some stuff over there.
He might be sitting out there cooling his jets there.
I don't know what he's doing.
I've not seen that before, man.
Neither have I, but as long as he's out there and not in here, I'm fine with it. It's weird though.
I'd like to see him swim, though.
Got down to like 2%. We could have finished him probably.
I don't know if the water's deep enough for him to swim, to be honest. There you go. You got a scarab over there at level 1. Ooh, we got another one? All right, he's rooted. Somebody is taking a look at him. What is it? Is it a wizard?
Oh, That's normal Trump.
Normal Trump. Oh my god.
I wonder if he's stuck out there. That'd make it easy to kill.
He's at 44%. The fact that his life isn't going back up implies to me that either he is bugged or somebody else is attacking him. Because the moment you leave the zone... Oh, there he goes. Oh, no, his life just lagged. He's at 100.
Oh, he's chasing Nomald Trump.
He got him out of there.
Such a troll name. I love troll names. I don't know about you guys, but I love troll names.
I love when people are clever with their names. I don't mind the other names either if you're just going to call yourself whatever. Like, it goes into the whole role-playing aspect. It doesn't need to be something that's catchy, that's funny. Oh, why is the guy just sitting there? Is he rooted? He's on, or?
The Skype just came up with his name.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what, guys? We're going to go ahead and end the video here. We'll see if we can get Shoops in the call, see if he wants to join us. And we may make another video here in just a little bit. I do want to thank you all for joining us. You guys have anything to say before we head out? Any last words, Donald?
You guys have a great day.
All right, guys. You heard it right here.
This giant from my life.
Yeah, I don't like having him this close either. If he dies... the player that's going to be coming straight at us.
Watch out for the mummy, it's red too.
But as always, guys, I'm AC Gamer, and we will definitely catch you all next time.
We can take the mummy, no problem.
Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.